The hum, the sound no one can trace, is in different parts of the world. Thousands of people report hearing a strange, low-frequency sound known simply as the hum. It's not loud, but it's constant. A deep vibration, similar to an engine idling far away, or a truck that never passes. What makes the hum terrifying is not just the sound itself, but the fact that only some people can hear it. Cities like Taos in New Mexico, Bristol in the UK, and parts of Canada and Australia have reported clusters of individuals suffering from sleeplessness, headaches, nausea, and anxiety due to this sound. Governments have investigated, scientists have measured, engineers have searched for mechanical sources. Nothing conclusive has ever been found. Some theories suggest underground military bases. Others propose seismic activity, or even communication systems operating at frequencies only certain humans can perceive. A more unsettling theory suggests the sound originates inside the human body itself, a neurological malfunction triggered by modern environments. But if that were true, why do people hear the same sound description across continents, decades apart? Recordings fail, instruments detect nothing unusual, and yet, for those who hear it, the hum is as real as gravity. What's most disturbing is this: some people report that once they hear it, it never truly stops. It fades, returns, grows stronger at night, and science still cannot tell us where it comes from or why it chooses certain people. The wow signal, a message from nowhere. In 1977, a radio telescope in Ohio detected a signal so unusual that the scientist analyzing the data circled it and wrote one word beside it: wow. The signal lasted exactly 70 seconds. It came from deep space. It was incredibly strong, and it matched the exact frequency scientists had predicted an intelligent extraterrestrial civilization might use to communicate. The signal was never detected again, not once, despite decades of scanning the same region of space. The source remains silent. No natural cosmic phenomenon fully explains its structure or intensity. Some argue it was a comet. Others say it was a rare cosmic coincidence. But none of these explanations satisfy the data. Completely, the signal behaved like a deliberate transmission, not random noise. What makes the wow signal unsettling is its timing. It arrived once, perfectly, then vanished forever. If it was intelligent, why send only one message? If it was natural, why has it never repeated? Science can describe what happened. It cannot explain why. And to this day, that single unexplained signal remains one of the strongest candidates for evidence that we are not alone. Spontaneous human combustion throughout history. There have been documented cases of people found burned almost entirely to ash, while their surroundings remain largely untouched, furniture intact, curtains unburned, floors undamaged. The phenomenon is known as spontaneous human combustion. Victims are often found alone, with no signs of accelerants, no evidence of fire spreading. In some cases, only the torso is destroyed, while hands and feet remain untouched. Investigators struggle to explain how a human body could burn so intensely without igniting nearby objects. Science has proposed the wick effect, suggesting body fat fuels the fire like a candle. But experiments attempting to replicate this scenario fail to match real cases. The temperatures required are extreme. The ignition source remains unknown. What's more disturbing is that cases span centuries, cultures, and environments. Alcohol consumption was once blamed. Later, obesity, then static electricity. None of these explanations hold consistently. Science cannot recreate it, it cannot predict it, and it cannot fully explain how a human body could become its own source of destruction. Without warning, the missing time phenomenon, some people experience something deeply unsettling. Time disappears. Not metaphorically, not emotionally, literally. Hours vanish without explanation. No sleep, no fainting, no drugs, just a clean, silent gap in memory. Pilots mid-flight have reported checking their instruments, feeling fully alert. then suddenly realizing they are dozens or even hundreds of miles ahead of where they should be. Drivers on empty highways have lost hours without stopping the car. Hikers enter familiar trails and emerge far later than expected, with daylight gone and no memory of what occurred. Medical examinations often reveal nothing abnormal, no head trauma, no signs of stroke, no neurological damage. Brain scans appear normal. Blood tests show no intoxication. From a clinical perspective, these people should remember everything, but they don't. Psychology suggests dissociation, a mental defense mechanism where consciousness detaches under stress. Neurology proposes micro-seizures or brief lapses in brain activity. Yet these explanations fail to account for the scale, clarity, and repetition of the phenomenon across unrelated individuals, cultures, and decades. Even more disturbing are the after effects. Some people report physical marks on their bodies that were not there before. Others find personal items rearranged or missing. Clocks, watches, and electronic devices are sometimes found stopped at the exact moment the memory gap begins. What unsettles researchers most is the emotional certainty reported by those affected. They insist something happened, not confusion, not imagination, a deep, visceral knowing that time did not simply pass. It was taken. Science can measure time with atomic precision, but it still cannot explain how time can vanish so completely from human experience without leaving a trace. The placebo effect taken to far, the placebo effect proves something extraordinary. Belief alone can change the body. Pain disappears, symptoms fade, recovery accelerates. The brain, convinced it is healing, triggers real chemical and physiological responses. But there are documented cases where the placebo effect goes far beyond expectation. People have developed rashes from fake allergens. Others experience severe nausea, dizziness, or heart palpitations from pills made entirely of sugar, simply because they were told the side effects were real. More shocking still are cases where tumors shrank after patients were informed they had received experimental treatments that were never administered in controlled environments. Belief alone altered immune responses, hormone levels, and even physical structures within the body. The opposite phenomenon exists as well. It is called the nocebo effect. People become seriously ill because they expect harm. Some experience paralysis, others develop ulcers or chronic pain, triggered purely by negative belief. Science acknowledges these effects exist. It can measure them. It can reproduce them. But it cannot explain how thought alone rewrites biological reality so precisely. Where does belief end and biology begin? How does expectation translate into cellular change? If belief can heal and belief can harm, then the boundary between mind and body is far thinner than science is comfortable admitting. And that raises a terrifying question. How much of what we call reality is governed not by physical law, but by belief itself? The Voynich manuscript is one of the most frustrating artifacts ever discovered. It is a handwritten book, carbon dated to the early 15th century, filled with illustrations of unknown plants, astronomical charts, biological diagrams, and a script no one has ever been able to read. The language does not match Latin, Arabic, Hebrew, or any known writing system. Yet statistical analysis shows structure, word repetition, grammar-like patterns. This is not random. It behaves like a real language. For over a century, the world's best cryptographers have tried to decode it. Codebreakers from World War II failed. Linguists failed. Artificial intelligence systems failed. Even intelligence agencies quietly analyzed it with no success. Some believe it is a lost language from an unknown culture. Others suggest an advanced cipher designed to resist decoding. More unsettling theories propose it contains knowledge deliberately hidden, or symbolic information not meant to be read literally. Despite modern technology, not a single sentence has been translated with certainty. Science can analyze the ink, the parchment, the handwriting style. It knows when it was made and how. but it cannot understand a single word. A book that exists but refuses to speak. Ball lightning is one of the rarest and most baffling natural phenomena ever observed. Witnesses describe glowing spheres of energy, ranging from the size of a golf ball to a basketball, floating silently through the air. Unlike normal lightning, it moves slowly. It changes direction. It passes through windows and walls without breaking them. Sometimes it follows people, sometimes it hovers, and sometimes it explodes violently. Reports date back centuries. Pilots have seen it inside aircraft cabins. Sailors reported it rolling across ship decks. Scientists have observed it under controlled conditions. The problem is simple. It should not exist. No known physical model explains how such a structure can form, remain stable, or behave intelligently. Attempts to recreate it in laboratories have failed repeatedly. The energy required should dissipate instantly, yet the accounts remain consistent across cultures and time periods. Science agrees ball lightning is real. It has been photographed, measured, documented, but what it actually is remains unknown. The Towered Man in 1954. A well-dressed man arrived at Tokyo's Haneda Airport. His passport appeared legitimate. His documents were stamped. His currency checked out. But there was a problem. His country did not exist. He claimed to be from Towered, a nation he said had existed for over 1,000 years. Officials assumed confusion. But when shown a map, the man confidently pointed to Andorra and called it Towered. His documents showed years of travel across Europe. All stamps appeared authentic. Experts could not find any forgery. Authorities detained him in a hotel under guard while they investigated. The next morning, the man vanished. The room was locked. Guards reported no movement. He simply ceased to exist. No explanation was ever found. Was it fraud, a hoax, a psychological episode, or something else entirely? Science has no answer for how a man with valid documents from a non-existent country could appear and disappear without trace.
Across cultures, religions, and time periods, people who were clinically dead report remarkably similar experiences. Their hearts stopped, brain activity ceased, yet later they returned with memories. Many describe leaving their bodies and observing doctors working on them from above. Some later recount precise details of conversations and actions that occurred while they were unconscious, details they should not have been able to perceive. Others describe moving through a tunnel toward a bright light, accompanied by an overwhelming sense of peace. These experiences are reported by children and adults, believers and skeptics alike, across different countries and belief systems. Science suggests explanations such as oxygen deprivation or chemical releases in the brain, but these theories struggle to explain cases where brain activity had already stopped, or where patients accurately described events they could not have physically witnessed. Science does not deny that near-death experiences occur. What remains unclear is what causes them. If the brain is no longer functioning, who is having the experience? For now, that question remains unanswered. Science is humanity's most powerful system for understanding reality. It explains stars, atoms, gravity, disease, and time itself. But science is not a belief system. It does not claim certainty. It follows evidence, and sometimes evidence leads to a wall. The mysteries explored here share a disturbing pattern. They are not rumors. They are not isolated stories. They are supported by documentation, repetition, and credible witnesses. Instruments record anomalies. Patterns repeat across decades. Observations remain consistent. yet explanations fail. In these moments, science does something many people misunderstand. It stops, it pauses, and it admits the most unsettling phrase in human knowledge. We don't know. Not "this is impossible." Not "this didn't happen." But "we cannot explain this yet." This admission is not weakness. It is honesty. It marks the boundary between what humanity understands and what still lies beyond reach. History shows that many things once dismissed as impossible later became foundational truths. Germs, electricity, quantum mechanics. Each began as an anomaly. Each challenged existing understanding. Perhaps these mysteries represent the next frontier, or perhaps they reveal that reality itself is layered in ways our minds are not fully equipped to grasp. The most frightening possibility is not that answers are hidden. It is that the universe is far stranger, deeper, and more complex than we are prepared to understand. And maybe the real mystery is not what we don't know, but how much we assume we already do.